Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Property Pros Podcast. You don't see me on today's video again because I'm still down here in Southwest Florida. It's the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. The infrastructure is not quite as good as we hoped it would be, so we're going to shoot one more episode without being able to see me on video. However, we do have a great guest. I'm really happy to have Riley Spangler of the team at ROVI Homes on today. And Riley, thanks a lot for joining us. Would you tell our audience members, a little bit about yourself, some of your history, and what it's been like for you so far working as an agent at the ROVI Homes team?
Absolutely. Thanks to you, Brian and Peter, for having me on today. Super happy and grateful to be here as well. I'm actually down right here in the Sarasota, Florida area as well. A little bit about myself. I come from a really small town in Indiana, and I have actually moved here. I've only lived here for about 5 years now, so still fairly new to Florida. I come from the hospitality industry, so that was my background before I entered the real estate industry. I would say that gave me a extremely strong sense of being personable and having, good customer service skills, just one-on-one people skills. And that really, helped me as I entered this new industry of real estate. I have been in not for a super long time. I'm pretty new, as I said, to the industry. So I am super grateful to be here, and let's go for some questions.
Well, I do agree with you. This is a really unique time in real estate, and we just came out of a market where it's been ticket taking for sellers, and people are paying well over asking. Can you talk to our guest about the time and place and what it's like for buyers and sellers right now, and especially in your area in Sarasota?
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of back to your point about it being just a very crazy market, to say the least, in the past couple of years. We basically went from last year seeing buyers offering up to or more than, in some situations, $100,000 over asking price, and even being a cash offer still getting denied, to now, 6 months to a year later, we are in a market that is totally shifted and is totally different from that, to where now buyers are not having such a difficult time getting, opportunities to get in a home. We're not seeing as many multiple offer situations where you're having to compete with a lot of cash offers. And, it's basically just giving a little bit more breathing room to the buyers. We're not in that frenzy of where, we're having to skip, over inspections and appraisals and do all that crazy jazz. We're back to the basics of being able to, have that really solid, timely process of guiding a buyer into, the house that they like, being able to make a solid offer and not have, like I said, so much competition to go against. So it really shifted very, crazily in the past couple of years, but it's, like I said, it's back to the kind of cooled off period, to where we can kind of relax and, just take our time and work a little bit more smoothly again. So definitely nice to see that.
And so based on the shift, who do you think needs the most advice from an expert like you? Do you think it's your sellers or your buyers that need to have this, hey, this is what's really going on, this is what you need to prepare for?
Yeah, that's a good question. And honestly, I would say probably a little mix of both, because right now we're kind of seeing sellers realize that they might have missed the boat to sell, especially where we're at here, in Florida. There's a lot of price cool offs and decreases that we're seeing. And, a lot of buyers are obviously a little bit hesitant due to the rising interest rates, which, it's an understandable concern, but that's just kind of how this market goes. You're either going to look at a higher purchase price with a lower interest rate, or a lower purchase price with a higher interest rate. And a lot of new buyers don't necessarily understand that. And again, you just saw, like we had been talking about, we just saw the market go from just ginormous asking price with those low interest rates a couple years ago to now, we're seeing these higher interest rates and prices are cooling off. So, a little bit of both, I'd say. Sellers are not necessarily certain in the situation, and neither are buyers. But that's why I take great pride in my profession here, and I love what I do to be able to. Our job is just to educate, both sides on what is, the best next move for them to do. So that's my answer on that.
Seems now it's even more important to have somebody working for you, guiding you through. If you're selling, probably, I mean, what is that like now? You have to price it even better than before and price for potential interest rate changes that are not known but could take place in the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I think we have a Fed meeting coming up soon or something.
Yeah, the last one I heard is going to be again in November, and I am quite certain that they will do another increase in rates in December. But to the point of, sellers realizing that they do need to come down a little bit in price, just because we're seeing a lot of homes stay on the market a little bit longer. 30 days is normal now, to where that was unheard of, 6 months to even a year ago. You were seeing homes just fly off the market in 2-3 days, and now you get up to 10 days, and sellers are getting nervous. They're like, "Why is my house not selling?" And yeah, so we're seeing that quite a bit more often now, and it's definitely a little bit easier to help, on the buyer side of things, because it was just really difficult to navigate that situation where a buyer would find a new home that they like, and then it's off the market in the next day. So now it gives us a little bit more time to make a conservative decision on, what they really like. I don't want to have to rush into anything or settle for anything. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting time, to say the least.
I mean, I've heard this in the past from other agents that they want to work for sellers or buyers, or maybe is it possible that they switch their interest based on changing market? Do you find yourself gravitating more so towards a seller or buyer now, and has it evolved with the changing selling environment?
Yeah, so good question. I do specialize more in working with buyers. As far as on the list side, though, it is a little bit difficult because, as I said, the sellers do realize that they potentially missed the boat to sell, which was that 1.5 to 2 years ago. That time frame. It's always a good time to buy or sell. I'm not saying that it's not a good time, but as far as in terms of getting the top dollar for the sellers, I think they all definitely are realizing that it's not as what it was 6 months ago to a year ago, where you could, take a home that was appraised 6 months prior to that at 250,000, and now it's all of a sudden 350 to 400,000. So again, I like to specialize in working with buyers. That's just where I'm at in my career right now. But I definitely, love making the deal come together from both sides if I have that ability to do so.
That's awesome. There's something I wanted to circle back to that we might have touched on briefly. And as a newer agent, making sure that you're working with the right people. Can you talk about your brokerage and your experience of onboarding and what it's been like to sort of ramp up to where you are nowadays?
Yeah, certainly. I think that is one of actually the most important topics that I'd like to point on in this podcast here, is that, finding that right brokerage to where you feel comfortable and you feel like you're at home, pretty much, is like what I like to say. I interviewed with quite a few brokerages before I did choose the team at ROVI. And what really stands out with ROVI Homes is that we are a very team-oriented brokerage, and we have the interest of everybody, each party involved at all times. So basically, that we really focus on training at ROVI and making sure that agent in the position feels very confident in what they're doing before we kind of set out to the field. And that was a huge thing for me, is I wanted to be in a place where I was properly trained and that I had a strong team behind me to motivate me, which that's one of the most critical things, I think, to a newer agent, any agent for that matter, for their success. But just getting started and picking ROVI, man, it's been nothing but a great experience. And we have, like I said, just a lot of team oriented business activities to where anything from ranging from our 6:30 in the morning conference call that we have every day, Monday through Friday. It's a very motivating way to start your day. We have a lot of team meetings throughout the week, and it's definitely important to me because I'm more of a person that is, I need kind of people to keep me accountable. So that was very important to me.
I understand. I like having teammates too, for sure. So 6:30 in the morning, you guys got to get up early. A conference call? What goes on with that? What's typical there?
Yeah, man. So basically, it's a 30-minute call, 6:30 to 7. We like to start it off with a little bit of a motivational video that lasts about 10 minutes at first, and then we kind of jump into how we all felt about that video, kind of what it said to us, if we got any certain message or any motivation out of it. And then, of course, the last 10 minutes is anything real estate related. So that could range from what's going on in your own week, if you had a successful weekend, if you had if you had an issue. It just basically gives everybody a chance to open up and bounce topics off one another. And to me, I found that's really valuable because it's hearing about what's going on out there in the real world and in the business, and really gives you an insight to what other agents are going through.
No, I understand it. It's similar. The public adjusting is similar to the real estate. You start working for somebody, and it just takes a long time to bring it to fruition. And just the sheer difficultness of the business, bringing something all the way to the finish line, can have a lot of steps in the process where we lose focus or even motivation. So, what have you done besides the team that you work with in the brokerage to help yourself with mindset and positive attitude for when there are days or times that you go through that are difficult?
Yeah, another good question there. That's awesome. I've really practiced gratitude myself for the past year to 2 years, and putting that practice in, just always realizing that, in any opportunity or in any situation, whether it's negative or positive, there's always an opportunity. And I really do believe that. And practicing being grateful for the bad and the good opportunities, it just really allowed me to find that happy medium. And especially when you relate it to business, to me in my life, I relate it to all fields: family, personal, and business. And when you can find that happy medium and just be grateful for everything that's going on around you, it really helps me be able to focus on, bringing that feeling into my work, and basically allows me to connect a lot better with my clients. To whereas if you're just focused on the things that are not going right, or the things that you're struggling with, whether it be in business or in your personal life, that doesn't really give you too much room for success or new opportunities. So, for me, it's been just having that positive mindset, man, and just really bringing that to my clients as well. And people feed off your energy. They can feel that energy for sure. And everybody who I've worked with so far, when I bring that positive and grateful energy, they really seem to um, be able to tell the difference. To whereas if they were working with somebody who is just focused on what's best for them, and just not focusing on the positives in the situation. So yeah, that's what I'd like to say about that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of times in life, it's not about what we think; it's what the other person thinks that we're having to deal with, for sure. Um, well, all really good points. Do you have any, war stories you want to tell, funny stories, or successes when you overcame some adversity relating to your real estate career?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, I could go into a ton of different things, but I can summarize better, I think. Basically, with the negative experiences, you're going to see it a lot in this business. There's a lot of, it's a people business, is what we like to say here at ROVI. And you're basically just building relationships with people, and having those conversations daily is what is really all we're after here. And there's people out there that they don't want to bother with your time, and that's fine. We simply treat them the same, and you move on to the next person. That's why I love this industry, is because it is very fast paced, and we have a very good generation system where we don't have a lead problem here on the team that I'm at. Our problem is, we like to say, a follow-up problem. And it's not that we have a follow-up problem, but that's where our focus lies in this business. And everything is new every day over here. That's for sure. It's something new every day. But there's always people that are super excited to work with you, and then there's people that are definitely tougher to try to get to work with you as well. But overall, we really just try to focus on providing that value, being there to give the customer what they need, because that's what it's about. It is not about us. It's not about us gaining anything. If we can bring a client into a deal and help them to the finish line, it's a win-win situation for both parties. And that's where I find my fulfillment, is basically just really helping that client find what they're looking for. And yeah, so I like I said, I could probably go on for a little while about that, but I don't think would have anything specific to say other than the fact that it's definitely something new every day.
Well, that's awesome, Riley. I'm so glad you came and were a part of our show today. I'm glad that people get to know you. Can you tell our guests how they can get a hold of you? I mean, we know you're in the Sarasota, Greater Tampa area, and for all things real estate, how can they contact you?
Absolutely, man. I would love to. So basically, my best way of contact is, of course, email or phone number. You guys can all reach me at my email, which is rspangler@rovihomes.com. You can also reach me at my business phone, which is 941-260-0603. Guys, I really would love to be able to help anybody out with anything real estate related. Never hesitate to reach out through email or call. Like I said, I'm a very good people person. I love to talk, love to chat. And if you guys even have any questions about anything, Florida related, like I said, I've been here 5 years, so I do have a pretty good experience of things down here. So yeah, any way I can provide value and assist with anything real estate related or just regular life related, I would love to be able to chat with anybody. So yeah, that's it.
Well, awesome. Thanks again for everybody tuning into this episode of Property Pros Podcast. I'm Peter LaFramboise. For those of you that have listened that think you might want to be a guest yourself, please reach out to us through one of our platforms. In terms of where you can watch us, besides all the podcast platforms that are out there, we have our own Facebook page, Property Pros Podcast, and we have our own YouTube channel, Property Pros Podcast. Thanks again, Riley. We're so glad you came here and were on our show, and look forward to speaking to you again in the future.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks so much for having me.